Shamu, everyone. And y'all, this has been a day, so rock with me a bit here. But we're starting. We're technically officially starting on the series that I promised. And we're starting the series I promised with the long-promised video about my gripes. Oh, look at the hair just everywhere right now. My gripes. Yeah, I need this to chill. Y'all, I got too much hair. I don't know what to do with it. Alright, anyway. My gripes on the Ars Goetia. We're going to start the series about the actual historic transmission of Western occultism by dispelling this belief to begin with. This is going to be the first thing. Because we're going to get to a point, and I'm going to have in the comments, if people are watching, oh, Dari, what about the Ars Goetia? What about the Ars Goetia? Aren't you talking about the Goetic spirits? No. Alright. 2025 is ending. We're going into 2026. And we can all rock with not using the term Goetic spirits. They're not. I can attempt to do a video defining Goetia, but working towards a definition of actual Goetia is kind of tricky. That is something I can do. But the Ars Goetia, the Lesser Key of Solomon, the Lemegeton, it is neither a part of the Goetic tradition, nor is it a proper part of the grimoire tradition, and we can tell that by its style and by its writing. The first thing that we can notice right out the bat with the Lesser Key of Solomon and the Ars Goetia. First off, Ars just book. Goetia was just term for magic. So, magic book. That's all that is. It's not indicative of Goetia. But the first thing is that in the entirety of the text, it completely fails to mention or in any meaningful way incorporate the four directional or cardinal kings. The earlier and parallel literature and traditions, especially that which is rooted in medieval or Renaissance magic. Sorry, I'm referencing my notes here because I have a whole write-up document on this. But they place significant emphasis on the four kings as sovereigns of the cardinal directions. These spirits are commonly known as Oriens, Amaimon, Paimon, and Aegon. They appear very frequently in the other demonological works and in the other grimoires. They're fleetingly... I'm unsure what happened there. Anyways, I mentioned the four directional kings and the whole app fritzed out. Anyways, it's missing the four directional kings: Oriens, Amaimon, Paimon, and Aegon. These appear in the other demonological works and grimoires that we have. They have fleeting mention in the Lesser Key in these roles, completely absent in them. It's a humongous departure from the established grimoire or Solomonic tradition. And right off the bat, this omission completely undermines any claim that the Lesser Key might have that it's directly transmitting any sort of ancient Solomonic system. If the text descended from the earlier Judeo-Christian or Near Eastern demonologies, we would see existence of the four directional kings as foundational features. This suggests either this is a fragmentary compilation process or it's a deliberate editorial takeout. Next, we need to understand where the list, because that's what everybody loves about the Ars Goetia, the registry, right? We need to understand where this comes from. So, where this comes from is there is a grimoire, the Liber de Spiritum, Libra Officium de Spiritum, the Book of the Office of Spirits. It's got a much longer name. We're not going to worry about it. It is the Book of the Office of Spirits. That has a spirit registry within it. Now, back in the 1560s, during the witch hunts and all the witch trials, there was a man went by the name of Dr. Johann Weyer. Johann Weyer was a student of Agrippa, so he knew his shit. He knew it. He was locked in. He published the Pseudomonarchia Daemonium, which was an appendix to his 1563 writing De Prestigiis Daemonium. In that book, in De Prestigiis Daemonium, which I could do a whole thing on that alone, Weyer, on the trickery of demons, on the illusions of demons, Weyer was making a case for why the witch hunts needed to stop and why those performing them were incorrect. As an appendix, he put in the Pseudomonarchia Daemonium, or the false hierarchy of spirits, the false hierarchy of demons. However, this was largely satirical. His book was a polemic against the witch hunts, and as proof that none of this magic is being done or could be done, he fucked up the hierarchy, he fucked up the instruction, the ritual, he fucked up the registry. He blatantly and purposefully sabotaged this stuff so that if the Inquisitors tried it, it would not work. He was a physician, he was a skeptic of witchcraft persecution, making claims such as that these people actually suffer from melancholia instead. But Weyer's aim was to ridicule the demonological hysteria. And to that end, he did the Pseudomonarchia Daemonium. And the compilers of the Lesser Key drew heavily on Weyer's catalog and Weyer's setup without acknowledging, or I'm pretty sure they weren't in on the joke. But they did not acknowledge the ironic intent. So, we further understanding this and seeing the departure from the Liber Officium de Spirituum to the Pseudomonarchia Daemonium, which is what the Ars Goetia comes from. Seeing that departure just further erodes any sort of authenticity in the text. It lifts the names and ranks from Renaissance satire as opposed to anything with a bit of lineage. We're at 8 minutes. This may become a two-parter. So, yeah, it's built on a text that was never intended to be taken literally. The whole list becomes unworkable. Further in Scott's discovery of witchcraft, further lifts this, and then the Goetia comes from it. You can read more on this in, I believe, the Grimoire of Dr. Rudd. Amazing book. But we also have a huge flaw that's not addressed, that the practices are incomplete and they're artificially simplified. It completely deviates from the complexity that we expect out of the grimoire tradition and come to know. It tries to present itself as a practice manual, but the instructions lack the elements that we find in the comprehensive systems. This is going to become a two-parter. In fact, it may become a three-parter. So I shall return.